happened in, I think, early March. I mean, it's just a typical day for me, and I was driving up Ansonia Road up the hill, and I turned onto a side street that I go on all the time and nobody's ever there. Speed limit's 25 miles per hour. I turned off and I turned onto the side road and, nobody's ever there, so I thought it was okay to go a little faster, and I was going pretty fast. And I turned the corner, and in a clearing ahead, I see a cop car just sitting there. And I passed the cop, and as soon as I passed him, I looked in my rearview mirror, and I saw his car turn around, and I saw the lights go on, and that's when I knew that that I was in trouble. He approached and he said that I was going 51 miles per hour in a 25 zone, and that I wouldn't have a court date, but he gave me my speeding ticket, and it was $191. I think the thing that I noticed right after is, okay, I'm not going to speed. And for like the next month or two, I went speed limit or under. I didn't go over because I was scared I'd get pulled over. But the thing that I was scared about was not the danger of speeding. It was getting a ticket because I didn't want to get in trouble. If I got another ticket, I could lose my license for 6 months. I would have to pay more, and I didn't want the legal or the financial consequences that would come with speeding. So that's why I was going to speed limit. I know that it's dangerous. I understand that. And I know that it's against the law. But I do it anyway. And I guess that's why I'm making this documentary. Because I know I'm not supposed to do it, but I do it. So I guess I just want to know, do you feel the same way? I mean, do you speed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Occasionally.
Every once in a while.
Yeah. Yes.
Sometimes.
But do you think that if you guys got a speeding ticket, you think that would affect how you drive at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
But only because you're scared of the
Of losing our license. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not really scared of dying.
Students at McWanago High School are mourning the loss of 3 classmates killed in a car crash. Derek Hazenfield, Christopher Persinger, and Christian Wire, all seniors, died in the accident late yesterday morning. Police say they were returning from a weekend at the Dells when they crossed the center line on Highway 33 outside the town of Portage and hit an SUV. 12 News' Mike Anderson is live from McWanago tonight.
It was supposed to be a Powder Puff football game tonight. Instead, students at one Maryland high school remembered their classmate who was killed in a car crash. Hundreds of students and community members packed the football field at Damascus High School tonight. They held a candlelight vigil for 15-year-old Ryan Dodone. He died in a crash late last night.
In Stanley County, as 3 high school students are killed in a late-night accident. One was a member of the Albemarle High School football team, and all were rising seniors. WCNC's Glenn Counts is live now.
On March 3rd, 2008, a terrible car accident killed 2 Amity High School seniors. Salvatore Seminella and Francis Zeffi were driving home in Zeffi's 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse. They were returning from a basketball game at the local JCC and were driving along the Merritt Parkway. At about 9:30 p.m., the car turned onto the exit ramp and smashed into the Exit 58 sign, then into a tree. That night, their families, friends, and communities were changed forever.
When we get the call, we just get the call as a motor vehicle accident, and when we get to the scene, that's when we realize what we have. We have to treat everybody no matter what their age. Sometimes it's hard, especially some of us who have kids now. It's hard to see a kid hurt, but we have to treat every patient the same.
So I had to go into the woods and actually identify both of them, because I knew them both well. So, again, it's something that we've done in this job a lot, but it's a little different when it's somebody that you actually know. And of course, that's just a horrible thing. And again, I've made death notifications many times in my career, but they're different when you know the people. When you walk in and you call the mom and dad by their first name, you know? That's hard.
Well, I just had an image of two boys who were lying dead by the side of the road, and I immediately thought of their families. I'm a parent. I have children myself, and you have that human connection. Those are my first thoughts. And then my second thoughts had to do with how's the school going to react. This is going to be a very significant event for the school. Kids are going to be very upset about this.
Next day of school, on my way there, I called another one of my friends who was really close to me. And I asked him, "Is this some kind of? Is this real? Like?" And he's like, "No, this is some kind of joke."
In general, a lot of patients that I've seen they almost absolutely look like they can stand up and walk away. Some different. I've seen some bodies that were not exactly straight. I've seen it all. I've seen where there's faces half off. I mean, you name it, I've seen it. I really have. But again, it's every accident is completely different. Sometimes you're surprised. You're like, wow, how did that person die? He looks absolutely fine.
I remember the conversation we had that day because I found out that night. Immediately, it just hit me that he had little brothers, two of them. One, which is like 7 or 8, is really young. Because I always see him with him. He always picks him up from grammar school and stuff like that.
With the speed, with the lack of a seatbelt, possibly could have saved some kids that I've seen. That's when you know there was absolutely speed involved. I mean, cars that I've seen are not supposed to wrap around trees. They're not supposed to split in half. And with that, it's absolutely speed.
I rarely go like 10 miles per hour over, just because I don't.
Why? Yeah, why don't you though?
Well, because if you're going 10 miles per hour over, there's more of a chance you'll get pulled over.
But is that the only reason?
And it's not safe.
Well, sometimes I don't even realize I'm really doing it because like the speed limits are so low in some of the speedy areas. Like I'm not gonna go 25 miles per hour on any road. Sorry, done deal. Like it's like some of the speed limits seem ridiculous. So I don't rush to get anywhere. I just go the speed that I think is safe.
And did you go to the wake?
Yeah, I went to Sal's wake.
And what was that like?
It was bad because when I found out it was one thing, when I saw him there it was another thing. It was even more shocking because he was just so cold.
Did you go to his wake?
Yeah. His parents had me come like a half hour before the wake was so I could see him by myself, like without the whole crowd and everything. And his aunt had come up to me and was like, "You need to touch him, it'll make you feel better." So she was the one who got me to touch him and like say goodbye. But I don't know. It was just terrible.
Yeah, but it's dangerous, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
If like a deer jumps out in front of you.
What if there's like another car that you hit that you don't see?
Oh, well then you swerve left, they hit you from the side, and then the police come, Geico calls.
He got in a car
you have to give
accident a couple weeks
statement.
ago.
Yeah. I was speeding and I hit some person.
You were speeding and you hit someone?
Yeah. Well, he pulled out in front of me and because I was going so fast.
But it was his fault, so it's okay. Not his, the other guy's.
Yeah. Because the cops don't know I was speeding.
My personal view sometimes is just sheer stupidity. There's a lot of accidents I've seen with teenagers that could have definitely been avoided if they just thought it through.
But like if I'm going like 10 miles per hour over, it's not like too fast. Like I'm still in control and everything. So I think that's okay.
You ever talk on your phone when you drive?
No.
Honestly?
I mean, well. Occasionally.
But they say that's just as dangerous as drinking and driving.
I don't think so at all, because I'm like so focused, thinking straight.
Well, have you stopped speeding since then?
I haven't driven since then.
Why not? Oh, he's your car?
Yeah.
He drives with me and tells me not to speed.
But do you think when you get your car back, do you think you'll speed?
Yes.
Why, though? After you already got into a car accident.
Well, good example is getting to school. Today I woke up late, 7:20, 7:25-ish. School starts at 7:35. So I hopped up, got out of bed, pulled down my driveway at 20 miles an hour, turned onto my road and like went as fast as I felt it was safe to do so to get to school on time, so I didn't get a tardy, so I didn't get a detention, so I didn't miss all my other activities because I do a lot of stuff, you know? Can't be having detentions for being late.
When they know what they've done after the fact, and I'm talking about teenagers mostly, they're extremely sorry for what they did. And unfortunately, some of them escape without injury and some of them do not. And that's a terrible price to pay.
I mean, what did his body look like?
You know, he's as he always looks. He's got a hat on, a sweatshirt, t-shirt, and he looked really good, as he usually looks like. He knows.
But it's dangerous.
It's not really dangerous.
Well, why would they have speed limits if it's not dangerous?
They should make the speed limits more. They should like change them once in a while. Like no one obeys the speed limits anymore, and you know that. So and I think I've seen. I think there are some roads that just need to be like updated. I think I generally go the speed that's safe. Like I'm not getting in crazy accidents, and I've never gotten pulled over.
When I finished the interviews, I really didn't know what to do with them because I realized that I was thinking pretty much the same way that everyone I interviewed was thinking. So what I decided to do was take the interviews, I put them on a DVD, and I showed them to someone who had a little more experience, someone who may be able to look at their interviews in an objective way. So what I did is I showed them to a psychologist at Amity High School, Mrs. Kathy Austin, just so I could get her interpretation of what the people said and maybe her interpretation and what she thought of the teenage mindset in general. Okay, so I guess I could just first get your initial reactions to those interviews. What did you think of them?
I thought they were, normal teenage reactions. I think they were giving you their honest answers. I think that they reflect teenagers being motivated by being caught rather than assessing risk. And I think that's natural and normal. Unfortunately, that's why teenagers also get in trouble a lot, because they either get caught or take a risk that was too risky.
Shortly after the deaths of Sal and Francis, the governor of Connecticut, Jody Rill, created a teen driving task force, which was supposed to investigate teen driving legislation and any changes or additions that would need to be made. And after speaking with several students about teen driving, I realized how desperately our state does need new legislation, because clearly teenagers aren't responding to current legislation. They're not scared of punishments, and they think they can beat the system of how to get pulled over. So I decided to speak with a few professionals about this. And I decided on a state senator from Connecticut who is instrumental in writing and editing the legislation, Gail Schlossberg, and a police officer, Sergeant Mike DeVito at the Woodbridge Police Department, who also has a close relationship with Amity as both the football coach and a former school resource officer.
So my first question is just, how do police officers usually catch people speeding? What are the different methods they use to catch people?
They're very easy. All they do is get on the road. There's so many people speed. Sometimes they sit stationary, but other times they have, moving.
They can catch people moving?
Yes, very much so. In the opposite direction. And I should actually say, in some of our more modern units can actually get cars going that are both moving in the same direction.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We found very much that the idea was that teenagers who just get their license and then you go out and you have all your friends in the car, it's very distracting. And when you're just learning how to drive, even though you've gotten your license, reflexes aren't quite as good as they are after you've been driving for a number of years. It's very distracting to have other kids in the car, other people in the car. And so we changed the laws to make it so that there are fewer passengers in the car. There are also new, tough penalties if 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds get caught DUI or with speeding infractions or traffic infractions. You're going to lose your license. It's not going to go through the same administrative hearing process. You're going to lose your ability to drive. We had 7 deaths in the period of 6 months right in this area alone. And so there was a real feeling that we needed to do something about that. These new laws aren't going to bring those lives back. Those families are going to be grieving forever. But if one student, one young person's life is saved because of through greater education, greater training, greater time on the road, and taking those distractions away, then all of these tough new penalties, tough new laws are worth it. We dealt with the education side to try to explain to young people, look, there are dangers with driving. You're getting into 2 tons worth of steel bullet, and you need to understand that it's really dangerous. And then we did the flip side as well, which was to increase the penalties and say, okay, if you're not going to hear us, in terms of our warning, then you're going to hear us on the other side, where you're going to lose your license. You're going to have a greater penalty. And where when you lose your license, your parents have to go down to the DMV to go get your license back. The officer's going to take the license from you at the scene, and then your parents are going to have to go down with you and pick you up. This isn't something you can sort of just under the radar screen take care of yourself.
I heard that you usually don't even have to see the car before you can catch them. You can catch them like further down the road.
But yes, if you and I were seated in a car, we would be alerted to a car that was traveling fast.
Okay.
So by the time they saw you, yeah, they definitely knew that a vehicle was traveling fast.
So you can't usually judge it by, because I know that a lot of people have thought that if they can see the car, then they can slow down in time before they get pulled over.
No, too late.
Too late?
Yeah, too late.
You are what we call the young immortals. Hard to understand that something bad could happen. And we always hope that nothing bad will ever happen. But with some education, hopefully, and you have to talk to each other and say, you know what, I'm not getting in your car. It's not. And all it takes is 1 or 2 kids. 1 or 2 kids to stand up and say, I recognize the danger here, and you know what, I'm not getting in that car with you. It is the difference between life and death, and it's worth doing. Hopefully these laws will make a difference. Our fear and our worst nightmare is that kids don't listen and you end up going to another funeral, because that's not something that you can fix. You just have to sort of live with it and move on. I don't want another family to have to ever go through that. It's going to happen. But, the more student kids who stand up and say, not my year. I'd love to see there be a goal, like in the school. So this year's senior class is not going to lose any students to reckless driving or drunk driving or anything like that. Take a pledge at the beginning of your senior year, your whole senior class, to say we're going to do everything we can to make sure we all live through our senior year. Could be really cool.
Today is March 3rd, 2009. Exactly 1 year ago, 2 teenagers from my high school were killed in a car accident at this very spot. Sal Seminella and Francis Zeffi were trying to get off this exit when their car hit that exit sign and smashed into this tree. Their lives ended where I'm standing right now. Now, no one will ever truly know what caused the accident, but I do know that it could have been prevented. With more foresight and better judgment, Sal and Francis could have been alive today. But they're not, because you only get one chance. I was lucky to get a speeding ticket because it made me change the way that I drive. But it shouldn't take a speeding ticket to make me change. Police officers shouldn't be forced to pull me over, and lawmakers shouldn't be forced to rewrite teen driving legislation just to make me change. Unfortunately, I figured that out too late. And so did they. But you have the chance to change now. Throughout this entire documentary, I've shown you what I learned so that you won't make the same mistakes I did. And so that, hopefully, you won't make the same mistakes they did. Now, I'm not perfect, so I'm not here to preach and to tell you, don't speed or don't drive recklessly. I'm telling you to think. Think about the consequences of your actions. Think about how one little choice that you make can affect your life and the lives of so many others. When you're driving and your speedometer passes the speed limit, just take a second to ask yourself, is it worth it? Because I hope by now you figured out that it's not.